So today is Saturday, and I woke up, got on my phone, and saw that there was rampant speculation that the orange criminal piece of shit may no longer be with us. Now, by the time I get this thing recorded and posted, we might know the answer to whether he is or not. My guess is that we're not that lucky, that he is probably still with us. And at some point, my guess is he's going to turn up, probably on a golf course. Because ranting on Twitter is not exactly proof of life, because we know that other people, post on his behalf. So that's not proof. We actually need to see a body in all of its disgusting glory, I guess. I don't know what the hell you would say. So I'm going to go under the assumption that he's still with us. But I do have some comments that I want to make about this, because it's not unreasonable to believe that at some point in the not too distant future, we will wake up and find that he is, in fact, no longer with us. And when that happens, I think there will be reaction, not only in this country, but around the world, that will be immensely celebratory. And you never typically don't like to celebrate something like that. But to every rule, there is an exception. And I think that even good people will see that that would be something to celebrate. Not because you are necessarily celebrating that, but you're celebrating the fact that that horrible human being is no longer able to inflict damage on other people, on our country, and to the entire world. There are certain people throughout history who are just such horrible examples of humanity, and unfortunately are able to get themselves in positions of power, that their passing is actually greatly beneficial to the entire world. And I think when this piece of shit finally goes, that would be one of those times when, for no other reason than he is no longer able to inflict damage on the entire world as he is doing, that would be in and of itself something to celebrate. And I think you will see it. Anyway, here's my thought on this. A lot of people want that to happen. I actually don't want that to be the way that it ends. I don't actually think it would be good for the country if that's the way he leaves the scene. Number one, I think it'd be too good for him. Even though I know that the chances of this happening are, slim, it's still not impossible. And that is, I think this piece of shit needs to face justice. Not just in the next life, if you believe in that kind of thing. Not in whatever comes after. Whenever he meets his maker, again, if you believe in that sort of thing, I don't think he will. I think he will be judged rather harshly. He's been speculating about heaven lately, talking about wanting to get into heaven. That's going to be a tough one. Hold on one sec. Okay, that's better. Had to do a little bit of coughing there. Anyway, allergies, not good right now. Anyway, I don't think that his passing, if we wake up to the news that he's kicked the bucket, I don't think that's too good for him. while there is a chance, and there still is the possibility, that we can bring this criminal piece of shit to justice and face consequences in this life, while that is a possibility, that is what I am hoping for. That is what I'm doing everything I can to pursue, and we all should be, in my opinion. We shouldn't just throw our hands up. He got elected again because we're surrounded by morons, so therefore he gets to get away with all his crimes for all time. Now, I know there's immunity issues that will prevent the prosecution of some of his crimes, but a lot of his crimes, that immunity decision does not apply to. Crimes that he has committed, or certainly appears that he has committed just since taking office in January. A lot of those are entirely personal in nature and entitled to no immunity whatsoever. So I think he needs to be held accountable. But beyond that, this country has been so thoroughly damaged and our politics so corrupted because of this guy. And we have tens of millions of people who damn near worship him. And if he were to pass, then there would be the mythology of Trump among his cult, as much as it already exists, would be, all the worse. And he will, they will forever think that he was the greatest president ever. Everything he did was, genius and all of that. And I think that if we're going to survive as a constitutional republic, that this man, that future generations need to see what a fucking disaster he was. And it needs to be widely recognized that none of the things that the cult has told us about him are true. We need to survive as a country for as many people as possible to see him for the fucking piece of shit criminal that he is, and for the disaster that he has been to the country and to the world, to the economy, to everything. And and that means we need him around. We need him. As much as I don't want to see this country further damaged, it almost needs to happen. Since we have elected as a country to do this, to put this piece of shit in office, we need, as a country, collectively, you and I don't need to, we understand this full well, but this country needs to learn the lesson of having elected Donald Trump. We need as many people to understand what a colossal, disastrous mistake that was. And that means we need this guy around for a while longer, until it is obvious to all. And the hardest core members of the Trump cult will never. But they're not going to be with us forever either. Such is mortality. And they're really the only people. We need to be in a position where no future generations ever look back on Donald Trump and think that he was a good president, or think that he was anything other than a complete disaster. Some of these mindless members of the cult, they're gone. You will never. Their fucking brains are so just gone to shit. They can't be saved, many of them. But they're not going to be around with us much longer. It's funny that if you look at the, demographically, the breakdown of the cult skews older, much older, right? And they're not going to be around a lot longer. And so we're not going to have much of these cultists around to deal with for a whole hell of a lot longer. Anyway, the point is, we need this guy to continue fucking everything up, as much as I hate for that to happen. But you know what? Sometimes you need to learn the lesson. A kid wants to keep touching that stove. He's never going to learn the lesson until he does it. And he really suffers the consequences and understand that my hand is burnt because I touched the stove. And a lot of people in this country need to learn the lesson, right? Because right now they see things going wrong. Even the cult doesn't like what's going on in the economy and various things, but they don't properly attribute it to Donald Trump and to them having voted for Donald Trump. They still find ways to blame it on the media, blame it on Joe Biden, blame it on Obama, blame it on whoever. We need as many people as possible in this country to get to the point where they realize, you know what? This is Donald Trump's fault. This man was a disaster. It was a mistake ever having voted for this guy. That's where this country needs to go. And so for us to wake up one day and discover that he's gone, I don't actually think that would be the best for the country. This has to end badly. It has to end horribly, one way or another, in such a fashion that the people of this country understand, as many as possible, understand what a disaster he was. So that we can, as a country, learn the lesson and not repeat this lesson going forward. But hell, you know, what happened in Germany in the 30s and 40s wasn't all that long ago, and it seems that people have already forgotten that lesson. And if you're going to forget that lesson, maybe there's no lesson that will ever really stick with human beings. Because because we're doing so many of the exact same things that happened in 30s and 40s Germany, and people didn't. So I don't know. Maybe we can never get to that. Maybe the people of this country, since really the United States is home to some of the most breathtakingly stupid people on the face of the earth, that we have tens of millions of people who voted for this guy after everything he did, all the crimes, the insurrection, adjudicated for sexually abusing a woman, on, all the list of horribles. And yet they would reelect that man. Maybe that group of people is completely incapable of drawing obvious conclusions and learning lessons. So maybe I'm just overly optimistic in the hope that this country ever could even learn a lesson. In which case, if it's impossible for them to learn the lesson, then maybe it would be best if we woke up to that news one day. Anyway, I guess that's it for now. I'm gonna go and see if there's any proof of life yet. Unfortunately, there probably will be, if not now, soon. But I am interested in seeing one last thing before I go, because all of this speculation, I think it's not without reason, without good reason, because he hasn't been seen, right, in at least a few days. And this is a narcissist who wants to be in everybody's face 24 hours a day. And I think is the last time that we've heard from this piece of trash when he had that ass-kissing session, that cabinet meeting a few days ago. Was that the last time? I know he's been posting on Truth Social, but again, that could have been someone else. Anyway, my last video, and then I'll go. My last video, I talked about the fact that something weird is going on, and I believe that's true. Whether this man surfaces or not, something weird is going on. It is weird that we haven't seen him in a few days. What J.D. Vance is out there saying is weird. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on that really lead one when you don't see Trump for a couple of days in the midst of all this. And then he's, talking about trying to get into heaven last week and the bruises, and he looks like shit all the time. There's good reason to believe that something is up. Okay? They're lying about his health. We know that. What else are they lying about? What is going on? I don't know. So when he's gone for a couple of days, I think the speculation is reasonable as to whether or not he is with us any longer. Something's going on, and we'll probably be talking about it a lot more, because even if he does surface, all those things are still true. Something weird is going on, and he appears to be very sick. They're lying about his health, so I don't know. Anyway, that's it for now. It's too beautiful a day to be thinking about this piece of shit. So I'll go see if he's still alive, and then I'm going to do something else with my day. I hope you all do too. Be well. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.